I think I probably went over this in another video already, but if I'm going to pull out all the ingredients needed to make chili super stew, I'm going to do 21 quarts of it and run 3 loads in my pressure canner. I was lucky to get a second canner, pressure canner on eBay that was just like one I had bought years and years and years ago and loved. An old golden colored Presto canner that I loved. And the trick is my big canners will only hold about 19 quarts of product, and so I have plans to order another big enamel canner. It's only about $17, just to mix the product, mix the product up in. What you also can do is just fill the canner full of chili super stew and not put as much liquid in it as it needs, and then put yay much water in the bottom of every jar as you fill them, and you'll end up with 21 quarts. Well, maybe yay much water in the bottom of each one. So just make it a little thicker, and it will absorb the water as it cooks. I don't pre-cook chili super stew. I bring it up to steaming hot temperature and then fill all the 21 jars. To get the first 7 in there and get them rolling, and then I get the second 7 in, and then by the time the canner's done from the first 7, I keep those jars hot though. Keep it hot, like set the jars down into really hot water once they're filled. And what I wanted to say is, having said that I do 21 quarts at a time, 21 quarts of anything is quite a lot, and to avoid all the chopping and all the tedious work, most of them I'm going to put onions, some of them carrots, onions and celery in most of them though, and carrots, and I think what else goes in them. I think that's what's on the list. Oh, cabbage. Cabbage soup, I actually cut the cabbage by hand. But for carrots and onions and celery, and possibly some of the tomato for salsa, I would just put the whole blender container, get my other hand in there, I can't see it, put my whole blender container, sorry, full of, probably a little more than half full of water, and then put chunks of vegetables, you know, maybe about so big, and then just use the blender, or you can do it with a food processor. You can do it lots of ways, but mechanically anyways, with the blender, I would just push the pulse button 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or so, and then everything's chopped. If you don't want all that water in, oh, bean soup, also in bean soup. So if I was canning hamburger soup, bean soup, cabbage soup, chili, I'm trying to think what else. My mind is not. Probably chicken soup also, and I wanted to put onions and celery and possibly carrots in it. You can use that same water. Okay, let me start again. You put the water in the blender, then you put the vegetables in. And if you don't need all that water in your soup to do load after load, blender load, because you're going to probably fill your blender 3 or 4 or 5 times with water and vegetables, and if you don't need all that water in your product, then you just pour it into a colander or any kind of strainer, and then that water's got vitamins and nutrients in it. So you don't throw that down the drain. You pour it back in the blender, throw your vegetables in your pot, put your vegetables in the water that's already been used in your blender, zit, drain them, throw the vegetables in your pot. If you need the water, go ahead and throw the water in there. If not, reuse that water 2 or 3 or 4 times and then pour it in with your soup. You don't want to lose that water. And it just makes really fast work of it. I'm looking at my list here. Bean soup is a really incredible thing to can, and it's very inexpensive. And you can buy ham or turkey ham, or use bacon or whatever you want to in your home canned bean soup. It used to be really inexpensive. The price of beans has gone up somewhat. I'm still looking at my list. You do the same thing to put onions and possibly even celery in spaghetti sauce, but definitely in chili. Probably use the same method for salsa. And hamburger soup is something I hope to cover in another video, and cabbage soup I hope to cover. If nobody's interested, that's fine. I hope to cover that in another video. And I wanted to say too on the fruit video, of course, when you can pears, a potato peeler is excellent for canning peeled pears, peeling pears to can. It's getting kind of late at night. Peeling pears to can. And you can use a melon baller to pull out the seed portion of the pear when you do your pear hams. And cherries, I leave the pits in. Just cherries, I leave the pits in, just wash them, load the jars full, pour boiling hot syrup in them, put the lid on, water bath them for the time allotted. I'm going to make a separate video, I think, on a steam canner since it's a topic kind of, of itself, but that will probably be the next one up. God bless. Thank you. Bye.